Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to cover to side hustle or not to side hustle. That's the age-old question. Do you want to do that or don't you? As you can tell, the Pacific Northwest winter is coming. The ducks are still here, although the flocks are getting smaller. The trees, the leaves are falling, and it's a little brisk today, as you can tell with the hat and the sweatshirt. It's roughly about 44 degrees today. So we will be probably cutting outside videos short, although there will be some outside videos based on the weather, and I'd like to come out when the snow's on the ground. It's a beautiful day sometimes to do that. Now before we get into this, there is something I want to let people know. I'm going to start changing up the wording. In watching a lot of YouTube videos, what I've noticed is it's a you should do this, you should do that. This is what you need to do. This is what it reminds me of, and there's nothing wrong with this, but it reminds me of a parent, a teacher, and my boss telling me things I should do. They're talking at me or to me. They're not talking with me. Now, the mind is a very interesting thing. When you talk to people, when you talk at them, the mind's like, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's not something that is in a big hurry. It's not something that I'm looking forward to doing, that kind of stuff. Now, I want to change the wording, is what I'm basically going to be doing. It's going to be an I and a me and a mine. And there's a couple of reasons for that. The very first thing is, when I say I, that's what you hear. You hear I. And because when I say you need to do this, you're hearing you, meaning somebody else. I am able to do this. I can do this. I will do this. That's what your mind hears. I'm also just going to put the subtitles on it, simply because even though the ears hear it, the eyes will see it on the screen. And the mind is a really interesting thing. It will take pictures. You've seen people speed reading, and like, well, how the heck do they do that? Well, what it comes down to is the mind takes pictures. The subconscious sees it. Whether we consciously see it or not, our subconscious sees it. And so the wording is going to be, I can do this, I can do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, this, that, the other thing. That's what I want people to hear and read and understand, that I can do this, meaning you, meaning the person who's watching this, is able to do this, no matter what this is. So with that, I'm going to do the intro for this, and we're going to get started. Let's define what a side hustle is, and let's define the two types of side hustles. The first type of a side hustle is actually like a second job. It's a short-term solution for a situation you might be in. You might just want to pay off your bills. You might want to save for a new car. You might want a newer car, one that runs. You might want to save for an RV. You might want to save for a boat. You might want to get out of debt. And all you're looking for is something short-term, otherwise known as the second job. The new term is side hustle. I'm old school. I just call it a second job, because that's what you're doing. You're in your spare time. You are looking to generate an income that will probably be less than your full-time job, because you have more experience at that. That's the skill set that you have. The second job is created by doing something other than what you're normally doing, 8 to 5, we'll say, for your regular paycheck. So that's part of the definition. What we're basically going to cover today is I'm gonna lay this out. Let you know what we're going to cover it, and then conclude with it. The first thing we're going to cover is, what is a side hustle? Because there are two different types of side hustles, and I want to be on the same page with everybody, so that we're all on the same page. We're all understanding that this is the meaning that I have. In the event there's another one, please let me know. The second thing is going to be the advantages of creating a side hustle or doing a side hustle, depending on which one you're doing, because there's two basic side hustles. Then we're going to cover the why of doing a side hustle. And the Y is actually a capital W period, capital H period, capital Y period, because each one of those has their own meaning. And when I say that, what I mean is I like to use acronyms. To me, it gives me the ability to remember things. The next thing after that is what to focus on to create a successful side hustle. And the focus is the same thing. It's F period, O period, C period, U period, S period. Because each one of them has their own meaning to it. Then it's going to be the disadvantages of creating a side hustle. Then we're going to have the conclusion, and at the end of this, we're going to say conclusion. We're going to wrap it all up, and then after that, there's going to be a bonus section that will be 10 questions to qualify a side hustle. Now, I'm new to this, and I've tried to put this PDF on YouTube. For whatever reason, it's not going. So in the event that doesn't happen and the PDF is not below, after the conclusion, there will be two or three, depending on how long it takes, frame shots and screenshots that will come up on the screen that you can just screenshot it, and you'll get the 10 questions, and you can print them out, copy them down, whatever you need to do. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so now let's talk about the advantages. The advantages of me creating a side hustle, obviously, is the extra cash. I can pad my bank account. I can do the other things with it. I can use it, and it's extra from what I'm normally making. This can be used also as, like I say, a pad or a cushion in the event something happens on Friday that I get fired on Monday. Okay, I have another source of income. It's when, and it's happened, when my job stopped, guess what? So did my income. I had no other income. And it came down to, you get kind of really nervous and really scared in that scenario, because all of a sudden you've created this debt machine that it doesn't stop. And so having that, no matter how much it is, having the 6 months worth of income in the bank, or having something coming in that the worst case scenario, I can keep the lights on in the house, I can keep a roof over my head, and I can keep the power on, and I can put food on the table. Those become huge just as a peace of mind thing. I like to call it POM. A friend of mine, Bobby Harris, he called it POM, peace of mind. And that's always stuck with me, that having that cushion in the bank, whether I'm paying my car note or anything like that, I have that cushion. The short-term side hustles, these are things I do on the side. I'll do on the weekends. I'll do in the morning, or I'll do in the evening after I'm off of work. My normal job. These are things that I've got short-term goals, less than a year, no less than 18 months. Pay off my bills, pay off my credit cards, pay off my cars, depending on the situation. Buying a home could do that. The catch to that is, in the event I do that and I've got the second income and I'm dependent on that second income, that payment is going to be dependent on that second income, which means I'm going to be stuck. And the last thing I want to do is be what's called house broke, where I bought the house, can't put any furniture in the house. Having been in real estate for a while, I saw a lot of that happening. These are also, the job type things, the second jobs are normally done locally. Normally done in a retail facility or a swing shift of some sort in a manufacturing facility. Those are what the second jobs are. Those are locally, short-term, and they will normally be paying you less than what you're making full-time. Less than what I'm making full-time. I will get that right. So that's how those work. So now the next thing we're going to talk about is long-term. Long-term side hustles. These are side hustles that have an entrepreneurial aspect to them. I might be doing a freelance gig where I get to travel. I'm employed by a company, although I'm an independent contractor. Now this can be with a freelancing thing, it can be with selling real estate, it can be selling insurance. You're a freelancer, you're an independent contractor. You're not quite self-employed, but you do have the tax advantages of being self-employed. You do work with someone else, which there are expectations then of productivity. That becomes the catch is, When you're doing a long-term side hustle, when you literally are working for someone else, when I'm working for someone else, which I have done, I've done it in both real estate and I've done it in insurance. It's the productivity. See, sometimes I didn't feel like doing it, although there were expectations, and that's where it kind of like, eh. Now, the other factor is, let's say I start my own business. I'm the boss, yes, and also the person in the mirror is 100% responsible for the productivity and the growth of that business. Once I realized that, a lot of things changed for me, and it became a really wonderful experience to become self-employed, to control my time. Although we're going to get into that in a little bit, from the standpoint of there's an upside and downside to being an entrepreneur, which I have yet or rarely come across. They actually talk about the downside, which is very interesting. When I'm on that non-entrepreneurial side, I can make more money usually than I'm getting paid. No matter what it is, because I'm charging what I'm worth. I'm not getting the income that the job is worth. And always keep that in mind. When you're working for someone else, it's not money that I'm generating, or when I work for someone else, it's not money that I generate. It's what they're paying for that job to get done. The job is worth X amount of dollars. I've never gotten paid what I'm worth unless I owned the business, was the founder. And you never own a business, you're always the founder. There's a reason for that. And I'm going to put out another video. Actually, I'm going to put out 2 videos upcoming. One is going to be talking about working from the neck up and then working from the neck down. And the other one is going to be on how the subconscious mind works and why the text is there, why you want this done this specific way. So now with that, we're going to move on to the next one. Why? The W of it is wealth increase. I'm making more money. I'm getting paid what I think I'm worth. And that's really not what I'm worth, because I'm worth a lot more than that, even when I'm getting paid. The ability to accumulate or to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle or be on my way to a great lifestyle, which is going to be a completely different video, comes down to the ability to get paid what I'm worth. And there are things that, from a money standpoint, has nothing to do with material goods. It just has to do with the peace of mind, like I mentioned a little earlier in the video. The peace of mind of knowing no matter what happens, I'm covered, or I have enough money in there in the bank that liquidity isn't the issue. So that's what the W stands for, is the wealth, the finance part of it. And wealth actually is more of a mental state. It's more of a mindset, because you have rich and you have wealth. It's 2 different things. I'm just going to use wealth here to help with the flow of the word why. It's easy because it doesn't start with an R. The second one, EH, is health. I cannot stress enough how important your health is, or how important, let me rephrase it, how important my health is to me being successful. In 2010, I was going through a lot. I had basically tied everything to the real estate business, and when it collapsed in 2008, it got ugly, really ugly. My health declined to the point the stress was there because of the lack of money. Went from making tens of thousands of dollars a month down to making like $3,500 a month. Well, the creditors and investors and stuff like that, it all got ugly, and my health went so far in a decline that I ended up having what's known as a stress heart attack, and it had nothing to do with my heart. The doctor said my arteries were fine, my heart was fine up until that event was on January the 3rd, 2010, 3:30 in the morning. Not that I remember it, or that it has any significance in my life. It was what's called a widowmaker heart attack. The 2 lower chambers of my heart collapsed, and the doctor said the only thing that saved my life was I was sleeping. I've gotten back from that. There's some things I'm unable to do just because of the damage that was done. Although the heart, the body, the mind, the mind still says, I can do these things. And this is where working from the neck down, working from the neck up becomes huge. The health of a person can determine how successful they are. And in working the job that I'm working right now, here's what I have found. Healthy people have goals and dreams and aspirations and have lots of them, okay? People that aren't quite as blessed with good health, let's say, sometimes only have one. They want to get better. And that's the only goal or dream they have. When I have good health, and do I consider myself to have good health? Yes, I do. I'm able to get now, and I will say this, meaning everybody. When you're able to get up, or when I'm able to get up, get out of bed, take a shower, brush my teeth, comb what little hair I have, and get my own breakfast, everything else is a benefit. It has been a great day. I don't care if it's snowing outside. I don't care if it's 98 degrees, 100 degrees. I don't care. It's a great day. Simply because I now have dreams and aspirations going out and doing things. There was a time my only goal and dream was to get better, was to overcome, not so much overcome, but to heal and get back to some semblance of a regular, quote unquote, normal life. Because there was time that I couldn't walk 300 feet without having to come back and take a nap for 3 or 4 hours. Health, I'm going to tell you right now, is huge. I've hired a nutritionist and already lost about 8-9 pounds. So ideally, over this little trip over the next year and a half, you're going to see some physical changes, which ideally are going to, they will help inspire something. She has helped me a lot already. So with that, we're going to move on to the why. It yields an independence. And what I mean by that, it's a return on your investment. Any side hustle done with intent, with meaning, with an objective, with a goal, can create a reliance on yourself, which is good. It's a good thing to know that the person in the mirror is actually achieving something. It can create some financial independence. It has for me in the past, and that's what I'm looking at, and that's what I'm doing right now. Oh, sounds like somebody's having a fun time down at the beach, at the water, the lake, the river. Yeah, it's down behind me, and it's flowing fast. So some financial independence. It also reduces the dependence on a single income. As I mentioned before, something happens to that job, people get stressed out. And being in a stressful situation is not healthy. Trust me, been there, done that. And you get so laser focused, you don't see the opportunities. There were so many opportunities I didn't take advantage of, simply because I didn't see them. I wasn't looking for them. And that's what having an open mind, having an abundance mentality, that's what it does. I also have more control over my financial future. And that becomes huge. The people I work, there was a point that I worked to pay my bills. I don't do that anymore. I work to enjoy my life. And I'm getting to the point that life is getting really good. I'm going to encourage the getting serious about the future. It can change at a moment's notice, one way or the other. The guy across the street from me, his wife came over about 4 weeks ago. He was having a stroke. When he had that stroke, his whole life changed. He was like 75, 80 years old. Now he's in here we are 3 weeks later. He was out there doing his yard. He's always taking care of it. Here we are 3 weeks later. He's in a rest home. His wife is also there with him to keep him company. They keep each other company because they've been together for so long. Although their life completely changed in 10 minutes because he had that stroke. So that's why you don't know. I had my heart attack. I've had a couple of strokes. I feel really blessed to be able to sit here in the park and do this. And ideally, you get some comfort from the fact of knowing that you are healthy to start with, and you're still healthy. So with that, we're going to move on to the next one, and I will talk to you in just a moment.